Alright, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Samak. Before I do anything, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered abroad. And with that, this is Brother Samak once again coming at you with another lesson. Lord will, this is edifying. As I'm, going through, I'm just looking at this and it's one atheist versus 25 Christians, and this atheist is like literally making these Christians look stupid. And it just shows too that I remember talking about this as far as if you want somebody to represent you, you don't want somebody that is gonna represent you the wrong way. That's number one. Because we are ambassadors of Yahweh Shai, man. Those of you who don't know, Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, and those are the true names whereas we shall be saved by. So that being said, yeah, man. I'll say Christianity or a so-called Christian is not a good representation of Yahweh Shai, man. They're horrible at trying to represent Yahweh Shai, man, because they represent Yahweh Shai the wrong way. They kept saying, God is all love, and it doesn't make sense. It would make more sense, and honestly, not even just make sense, but also going into the scriptures, you can see that the Lord is not, or I should say, God is not all love. He also hates. He loves and he hates. It's both. It's a balance. Just like he put in ourselves love and hate. So that being said, yeah, one more hymn. But let's listen to a couple of this and make a couple points. And Lord will, this is edifying. Here we go.
Right? To these animals that suffered like that, there's one view on the table, which is that God will give them a praiseworthy status where they will be able to actually see
Can
that.
we talk about that claim? Because these animals are suffering for what? I mean, God might cause them to suffer
It's
a
not
bunch.
means to ends. This is not means to ends.
God might cause them to suffer a bunch and then essentially redeem them in the afterlife. But what for? Like, why do that?
Two things. Number one, because he can do what he wants. Number two, it's a balance, man. We have to realize, reading throughout the scriptures, and this is the problem with people. They don't understand that there is a hierarchy when it comes to anything, okay? There's always going to be someone that is above you. There's always going to be someone that is, that is on the low or has the shitty end of the stick, if you get what I'm saying. So right now, honestly, we serve a just power. Okay, look at how if we look back, Israel being punished and being ruled over by so many different nations. All these nations had a hand in our captivity, you know. So when it comes down to it, yeah, man, the Lord is a just power. The scriptures say the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So right now, the people that are on top, they're gonna have their little fun, and then after that, the ones that are last are now going to be the first. You know, it's gonna be a turning of things upside down, like the scriptures say, man. Okay. Real quick, because I said it already that we serve a just power, man, and no one can say that the Lord is unfair because you had your chance, you had your reward and everything. There's gonna be a specific few that aren't gonna take their reward now, take this now. They're gonna want to do take the reward later, and we're gonna get into it. unto you. Woe unto you. Let me see what comes up with this. Oh, no, not wow. Woe. Here you go. Real quick. This is Luke chapter 6 and verse 20. It says, but he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of the Most High. Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. So yeah, man, these sort of things happen to certain people, man. Okay, aka really specifically the elect. Okay, so there's gonna be a specific few people that's gonna not follow the ways of this world and get the reward, the crumbs and everything like that now, but yet get it in the kingdom to come. Okay, not really a crumbs, but yeah, as far as, because these are crumbs compared to what we're gonna have in the kingdom, you know. So when it comes down to it, yeah, we serve a just power. So again, there's some people that are gonna have the shitty end. There's some people that's gonna have a good end. You know, the first everything. So when it comes to these nations, that's another thing too. It's a nation thing. So when it comes down to it, the Israelites, aka you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you have the shitty end of the stick. Okay, you're the ones that are just eating dirt. You're not really living anything. You know, there's nothing for you because everything is cursed. You know, going through the curses and everything like that. But these other nations, this is their heaven. Okay, this is their time to rule and their time to do what's due. And as far as being up on us, it says, rejoice in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. It says, but woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. And yeah, man, that when it comes down to the ones that want the reward now, in a sense. So they want the reward now, and they don't want to wait. You know, the patience. You know, so they just want it now, and that's a lot of our people, man. You know, I was gonna say that's the thing too. The more and say like you put in an investment, you're investing in a certain thing, and the more you put into it, the greater it'll be. You know, and that's probably another lesson. But the more you invest in it, the greater it'll be. And what are we doing right now, man? We are putting all of our investments into this truth, man. You know, real quick, this is a perfect example. Let me see something real quick. Is that in the same chapter? No, I don't think so. Let me see. It might be. No. Lay up for yourselves. There it is. 6 and 19. This is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. It says, lay up Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So long story short, yeah, what I said as far as investing, when you invest in something, you putting your all into it. If you either because you believe in that thing, again, looking at like stocks and everything like that. Yeah, man. You investing in certain companies and certain things, and it gets you what? Money, right? Right now you don't have anything, but later on in the future you will. You just got to keep investing in it. What more? This truth. We are investing in this truth, and we believe and see that this is the way. So we're gonna put our all into this and sacrifice things, sacrifice ourselves and whatever we have for this truth, man. You know. And that's another thing where moth and rust doth corrupt. So again, here it is. You got people, our people. I'm speaking specifically our people, investing in things in this world that will be taken away. You know, here it is. You go ahead and invest in things and try to put your all into a certain thing in this world. It's only gonna backfire on you. You know, because look at all these rappers and everything like that. They got all this money, but then they end up dying over some stupid things. Perfect example is Pop Smoke, XX, Tentacion, whatever his name is. You know, put all your money and everything like that into this, and blood, sweat, and tears into certain things, just to what? Get used. I'm not gonna lie, it's used women, trash food that doesn't really benefit you. Actually, it actually kills you. These things don't. It's not. This is not our scripture say, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. You know. So nah, man, that's just not. It's not it. But hey, like it says in verse 24, woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. You've received your reward, man. You receive your reward. You want to invest in that. You want to invest in Esau, Edom, and his little crumbs and everything like that. The ways of this world. Cool. Woe means death and destruction unto you, man. Okay, pain and suffering. It says, woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Yeah, man. You laugh now. The script, no, not scripture, but I'll say, you have that laugh now, cry later spirit, man. You want the warmth now, in a sense, man. Inside joke, but it says, woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers unto the false prophets. Yeah, you wanna all these people speaking well of you, and you ain't really do anything. You ain't really anybody. You didn't go through anything. I'm just thinking on that aspect, because you got people out there that's being praised for doing wrong. You know, it's crazy for stepping on other people's shoes, man. Uh, what's it? Deceiving people. You know, that's these so-called Christians, man. These so-called pastors that are in these Christian churches, man, using the people and being praised as if there's some type of God. You know. So yeah, man, it's no point of even trying. Nah, man, trying to be a part of this world, man. You know. Um, but going back, I don't know if I got off topic or not, but he said why? Because it's a balance, man. Yeah, that's what I said. As far as having the shitty end of the stick, there's gonna be people that have the shitty end of the stick, and there's gonna be people that have what a good end. You know, so somebody has to fit that role. You know, it's just like a play. You know, you have the backup people, you got the extras. You know, this is the Lord's movie, man. So that's just what it is. You know, hey, and you ever heard of the circle of life? You know, when it comes to the animal kingdom, oh, why does he let poor things die? But why are you? If this is the case, okay, why are you? Why are we killing animals? Why are we eating them? You know, it's because it's the circle of life. You live, you're born, you live, and you die. You know, and those of you don't know, it's definitely in the scriptures. Is reincarnation is real. Okay, everything is reincarnated, man. So again, it's just a circle of life, man. That's just what it is. With a constant repeat, man. You know. So when it comes, like I said, as far as the animals and everything like that, killing babies and everything, these things, the Lord is doing is for a reason. The scriptures say, "For my ways are not your ways." So His ways are higher than our ways. So we can't really question, a lot of these things. We shouldn't question these things, but of course, this Edomite, he's doing, gonna ask these stupid questions and everything like that, and he's just never gonna get it because he's not meant to get it. Okay, but let's keep it going. I want to get to this one guy because he was going crazy with it, but not going crazy with it. I mean crazy as far as he doesn't know the Lord. You could just tell he doesn't know the scriptures. But let's keep going.
This. If I were to punch you in the face and then give you $20,000 afterwards, you might be grateful for the $20,000.
Yeah.
But why couldn't I just give you the $20,000?
Well, see, so that's assuming. So I saw your debate with Trent.
You've been
To
voted.
all of you that Slakia, he said if I punch you in the face and I give you $25,000 or something like that, why couldn't you just give me the $25,000? Well, let's just think about this. Is that how the world works? No, it's not. Okay, when it comes to a certain thing, if I was to give you $25,000, more than likely it would be for a reason. Like, why am I giving this person $25,000? Nobody's gonna give somebody $25,000 or do something nice for a certain person. Let's just do that without anything in exchange. You know what I mean? So the Lord, the Most High, being that he's I'll say what's the word for it? He has specific few, and I could say, well, the elect. Why is the elect the elect? Why is that? Because they're showing forth their love to the Lord, you know? And just like also I'm thinking about the chastening of the Lord. The Lord chastens who he loves. So he's going to go hard on the elect, the ones that love him the hardest, because that's his own. It's just like me having a son. You want to go hard on your son to prepare your son for what's to come. You know, that's just what it is. But people don't get that. But I believe the guy's gonna explain, not this guy, but the guy that's coming. He's gonna explain that a little bit. You know, as far as yeah, we'll just keep going.
Now,
All right.
the majority,
Awesome,
please
man.
return to your seat.
Good stuff. So close. Hey,
Nice to meet you.
how's
My
it
name's
going?
Hayden. How are you?
Hayden. Nice to meet you.
Would you say that theism or atheism better account for the idea that suffering exists and a purpose for it?
Depends exactly what you mean, because of course you might say that the world itself is more expected on theism, and since suffering, needs the existence of the world, that it's theism. But granted the existence of a material world, let's say, I think atheism.
Okay. Why does suffering exist at all? Like in an atheistic worldview, what is the cause of suffering?
Oh, well, because however life began, it developed through a series of natural selection, which requires animals to develop senses that they wish to avoid in order to be more likely to survive. And that's why pain receptors evolve. In a world where not all of these pains are actually going to kill us, we're left with situations in which we're in a lot of pain but don't end up dying for it.
Would you agree that consciousness is necessary for suffering?
I would say probably, yeah.
Does atheism account for consciousness?
Yes, that's what I was talking about a moment ago. Perhaps not. Maybe theism accounts better for consciousness than atheism
Okay.
does.
So if there is no consciousness, there is no suffering. Is that right?
That's probably true, yeah.
So if atheism cannot account for consciousness, then it cannot account for suffering. Would you agree
so
with that?
So I think what we're doing here is we're sort of slightly shifting the goalposts. If you don't want to grant the existence of the material world before we start talking about this, we can do an argument from consciousness, but then we need to debate whether consciousness is explicable on atheism. What I'm going to say is this.
Sure.
What I'm going to say is this. Consciousness may seem to imply the existence of a conscious creator of the universe. We're here talking about, I suppose we're talking about Christianity, and the claim was about God, but the God that you believe in, let's say. If we grant that there is a creator deity who sort of brings about the universe of conscious creatures, have you ever heard of the evil God hypothesis that Stephen Law popularized or came
No,
up with?
tell me it.
So the idea is that, like, imagine that there's a God who brings about the world and creates the world, but does it maliciously because he wants human beings to suffer. He brings about a world in order so that human beings will suffer. Right? That seems like a plausible hypothesis. And even if you think that consciousness points towards God, the kind of God that a lot of Christians think is a sort of necessary quality of God, which is to be all loving, might not have to apply here.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
If Christianity were true, is it plausible that suffering is necessary for God's purpose? For
If
his
Christianity
creation?
is true, then I think it must be necessary because there'd be no other explanation.
Okay, so we're not talking about whether or not Christianity is true.
But if you're asking me if it's plausible that Christianity is true and therefore suffering is necessary, I would say probably not. Because I don't
Okay.
think suffering should be necessary or could be necessary.
In an atheistic worldview, I would agree with you. It makes no sense at all. But okay, I would ask this question.
So can I ask you
Sure.
why then, if God exists and wants to come to know everybody and wants to love everybody and does so for the sake of human beings, why he chose to imbue the world with so much suffering that is at least seemingly completely inexplicable?
Are you a father?
No.
I'm a father. I want my son to become just like I am, better than I am, I should say. I want him to become the best that he can be. Is it possible for him to reach his potential without suffering in his life?
Perhaps not, but there's
Okay, so suffering is necessary.
there are a few things I want to say here. Firstly, that kind of moral development doesn't apply to non-human animals, as I've already said. Right? That does not account
Why not?
that does not account for the brutal death of animals in the wild. Also, if I don't want to talk about your son because it's tragic to think about, but somebody else's son
Sure.
has suffered and died immediately as a
Sure.
result of that suffering, they don't get to develop in the same way.
I would agree that on a
Again, what was that scripture? Believing the scriptures talk about no one dies being innocent. So when it comes down to it, these things happen for a reason. Okay, things happen for a reason. So we don't have free will. There's no such thing as free will. So they're dying. It's because of a reason. Okay, the scriptures say, what does it say in Isaiah 45:17? I formed the light and create darkness. Well, actually, I want to get this real quick. Salakia. Because the Lord is the issuer of life and death. Okay? That's what we have to understand. Deuteronomy 32 and 39. It says, seeing that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So yeah, man. Okay? So he kills and he makes alive. So if he did it, if somebody died, they died for a reason. Okay? That's just what it is. There's no accidents. There's no he wasn't meant to. No, he was meant to die and everything. He or she was meant to die. It's just what it is. So that's the Lord calling you back. And well, let me get another one real quick. This is Amos chapter 3 and verse 6. Salaki. It says, shall a trumpet, matter of fact, I'm gonna read up. It says, can a bird fall in a trap upon the earth where, well, no. Yeah, that's right. Nah, it's verse 6. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord hath not done it? The answer is no. Okay? People are going to be afraid, and the evil that is in the city, the Lord did do it. Okay? So that being said, yeah, man. When it comes down to it, the Lord did it, and He did it for a reason. Okay, it's no innocence or anything like that, you know. And well,
Micro.
Salakia, there's a purpose, and mind you, there's a purpose for certain things. If a man was blind, it's a purpose for it, and I can actually get that real quick too. This proves reincarnation as well, because well, hold up. All right, so it's John chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, and as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. Okay? Blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Now, why would they ask this question as far as if the man sinned or his parents? Why? Because, again, it's not because a baby can't sin coming out of the womb. Okay? So what are they judging off of when it comes to this man? They're judging off of not now, they're judging off of his past life. And seeing it like, okay, this guy is blind probably because of his past life, or maybe because of his parents. Okay? So, but neither is the case, because Yahushua said this. Yahushua answered, neither hath this man sinned nor his parents, but the works of the Most High should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. So long story short, Yahushua healed the man, right? But the main thing about it is he was born blind because of this specific purpose. So if a man was born blind, or if a man was born with a disability of like limbs and everything like that cut off or something, it was for a reason. Things happen for a reason. We have to, and when you start to understand that and have the understanding of that, things will be a lot more clear when it comes to it. Okay, when it comes to a lot of things. So, yeah, that proves reincarnation. That also proves that no one at all is just dies being innocent. No one dies being innocent, you know. Anything happens is because the Lord sanctioned it. Okay?
Level, it's very hard to justify. And we can ask the question, why doesn't God intervene on all
So
of
look,
these
you might be able to
sufferings?
justify an amount of suffering,
Yeah.
right? But the fact that there's so much gratuitous suffering in the world is what I think makes God's existence unlikely. There are some instances where maybe a certain amount of suffering brings about a certain amount of good in a situation. That, by the way, would count as a justification. But when a child dies of leukemia, and they're dead,
Could there be a purpose to it? What if the death of the child brings their parents to God?
then
to
perhaps
salvation?
then the parents should be grateful that their child got leukemia because it's doing the will
No,
of the Lord.
not necessarily.
That seems
All right,
obscene
pause.
to me.
No.
Please return to your
Thanks.
seat.
And see, I can give this guy in the not the atheist, but this guy right here in the glasses, you know, some props, because at least he it seems as though he does get the understanding that sometimes um something has to happen to a person for them to believe, you know? And it could be anything. It could be like I'll say this. I remember someone telling me before, like a friend could be, say like a friend could bring in another friend into this truth, and then the friend that bought him, friend number one brings friend number two in to the truth, and now the friend number two believes, but then now the friend number one doesn't believe anymore, and it was the purpose of friend number one was to bring friend number two in and to kick friend number two out. So it could happen like that as well, you know? So because at the end of the day, man, it's all of the Lord, and all I'll say as far as the election, you know, the elect. That's the main thing. To find the elect, the Lord has to sometimes use someone to bring in someone else, you know. So that's just what it is. And well, I could say the perfect example too is the blind man. You know, the blind man was the miracle, um, one of the miracles that he did, you know, on the blind man. That's that to what? To show forth the power, man. So he'll use a certain person to show forth the power, man. You know, if I'm making sense. Um, and then also, yeah, he'll use a certain person to get another person. He'll use that's why do you think he's using? I'll say this. He's why do you think he's using? I could say if there's true prophets and there's false prophets. Why are there false prophets? There has to be false prophets. False prophets are a necessity because if they don't have false prophets, then we can't weed out the ones that if I'm making any sense, the fact of the sheep from the goats. The scriptures say he's gonna separate the sheep from the goats. He's gonna yeah, the elect from the non-elect, you know, the cluster of grapes, he's gonna sift. The scriptures talk about sifting, you know, the sifting of the house of Israel. That's just what it is, man. So, what was I gonna say? The false prophets are in need to weed out the ones that are not for the Lord and the ones that are. And we are not even starting to see it, but we are seeing it, you know, that we are seeing who's for the Lord and who's not. And we'll say in Jacob's trouble, when Jacob's trouble hits, we'll really see who's really for the Lord and who's not. We're gonna listen to a little bit more, see where this goes, and as comes to a close.
You're so cool.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm awesome. I would love to pull back a little bit.
Sure.
And ask you, what are your values kind of rooted in and grounded in? Where would we start with?
So I'm an ethical emotivist, which is a form of ethical non-cognitivism. I don't think that ethical claims have truth value. I think they're expressions of emotion.
If we're pulling back a little bit, I remember reading at the end of Richard Dawkins' book, the God Delusion, that we can't trust our senses because evolution doesn't really care about making truth claims. It cares about
that's right.
surviving.
I don't know.
Do you agree with that?
I don't think Dawkins actually endorsed that argument, but it's a good argument. C.S. Lewis, Alan Plantinga, the argument from reason, sure.
But would you agree or disagree with that?
Well, I mean, I remain agnostic on what reason is, but I think it's a powerful argument.
When it comes to determining if suffering is wrong or right,
So, okay, so crucially, I'm not saying that suffering is morally wrong.
Right.
Outside of the senses that I, as an emotivist, will just express an emotion towards it, that I
Right.
don't like it. I'm not claiming that it's immoral, that it's objectively bad. What I'm claiming is that suffering is unexpected on theism. It's an internal critique, right? Lincoln said of slavery, if this is not wrong, then nothing is wrong. And you don't have to believe that something's wrong,
Right.
but if there is such a thing as objective morality, I don't think that it would consist in a God who oversees the amount of suffering that we have on planet Earth.
Timothy Keller does this story about no-see-ums. Have you heard of the no-see-um story?
No.
Yeah, so he says if you have a tent and you look in there and you say, hey, I think I have some dogs in the tent. Me, like, for example, I have a golden doodle. He's a killer. That was just a joke, but we can move on. And if I say, hey, I have a golden doodle inside the tent, you would expect to see one. But if I said, hey, there's some no-see-ums. These little gnats are so tiny they actually go through the screen.
Sure.
He says, there's some no-see-ums in the tent. You might look in there and go, I don't see any no-see-ums. But of course you don't see no-see-ums because nobody can see them.
Okay, so
Just because there's maybe not a reason that we can identify doesn't mean that there can't be a reason. Now, it's kind of cold comfort. That doesn't get us 100% of the way there, but it gets part of the way there.
that's true. So the existence of evil is not logically, or suffering is not logically incompatible with God's existence. But it's a bit like if somebody came up to me right now and stole my friend's wallet in front of me and shot him dead and ran away, and I was grieving, and somebody said to me, well, hey man, you don't know, that person might have worked for the CIA, and your friend might have secretly been harboring the nuclear codes, and killing him might have been good for the country, and he stole the wallet because that's where the codes were. And I would say, well, what evidence do you have for that? And you say, well, look, just because I don't have
Again, no one dies being innocent. And again, when it comes down to it, things happen, and it's just how it is. You know, we shouldn't be questioning the Lord, because, like I said, as far as his ways are not our ways, or our ways are not his ways. You know, so our ways are lower, his ways are higher. You know, and that's the problem with these people, man, especially these Christians, man. They just continuously question the Lord, and ask why, and everything. Like, asking why is already, you already lost. You already shown your unbelief. You know, you should never ask why. You know, you should automatically understand and go back to the scriptures, man. You know, the scriptures say we have the mind of Yahweh Shai, man. You know, because the scriptures are the mind of Yahweh Shai. There's an answer to literally everything. You just have to read the scriptures, man. You know, desiring the sincere milk of the scriptures, man. You know, we have to do that. If you don't, you're screwed. Because the scriptures say knowledge and wisdom should be the stability of thy times. That'll keep us stable. That'll keep us from going crazy. Keep us from going above ourselves, trying to go, I should say not, but going ahead of ourselves, you know? So, yeah, man. When it comes down to it, we need the scriptures. We need to know the scriptures. And I speak that for myself first and foremost, you know? But real quick, since I said that, I'm gonna read this real quick and just come to a close. This is Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, my son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. Right? It says, for lengthen of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let no mercy, right, lengthen of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Why do you think we were able to live so long back then? We're able to live over 300, 400, 500 years, 600 years, you know? Because we were following the law, man. We were perfect. Well, and perfect in the law, you know? And even then, honestly, we weren't perfect in the law, but we were close to it. As far as this, if we followed this to the T and everything like that, this is immortality, man. We won't go off. The reason why we're dying is because of sin. You know, the sting of death. You know, sin. The issuer of death, Esau, Edom, and you know, I don't want to go too much into it, but yes, as far as sin goes, because scriptures say that the wages of sin is death. So if you're continuously sinning, you're continuously doing wrong, breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments, you're eventually going to die, and that's just what it is. You know. That's why, again, we need new bodies, because we're not perfect. We're not perfect. We're continuously sinning. We're continuously going astray when it comes. Well, I'm not going astray, but yeah, as far as just not fully following the commandments, right? That's why the law is going to be written in our inward parts, to where we're not going to be going off and we're going to be immortal. which is going to be a beautiful thing, man. So it says, let no mercy, it's like, let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them and bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. And heart goes back to the word lab, which means mind. It's got to be a part of you, man. Don't forget it. In other words, too, you know, keep it instilled within you. Because Yahweh Shai was known to be the walking word, the word of God, as it says in the book of Revelations. It says, so shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of the Most High and man. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not upon unto thine own understanding. And that's the problem with these Christians. They don't want to trust in the Lord, but they want to go upon their own understanding. Like, no, I think it's this, I think it's that. It's not even Christians either. It's just basically our people in general, man. The scriptures talk about they're going about to establish their own righteousness. You know, they're doing what they want to do and not trusting in the Lord, man. And that's the problem. That is a problem. And they're gonna just eventually just die, man, be destroyed. So it says, in all thy ways acknowledge him. So in the good, in the bad, you know, when things are happening to you, when things aren't happening to you, you still acknowledge him and thank the Lord that he got you through certain things and he's keeping you through, keeping you safe, you know. So it says, in all thy ways acknowledge him and he shall direct thy paths. Right. Man's goings of the Lord. So that's why, how shall he know his own way? Roughly paraphrasing. So, again, there's no such thing as free will. When it comes down to it, the scriptures say that you could throw the dice, but the Lord determines how it's going to fall, roughly paraphrasing. So, again, you could do what you want, you know, of course. You could go left and go right, but the end of it is the Lord determines your end when it comes down to it. Okay? So if it's destined that you are of the elect, then you are of the elect. The scriptures talk about predestination. It's already chosen. The chosen is already chosen, you know, from the beginning. We're just planning it out, man. Again, this is the Lord's movie. So be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. Right, man. Be not wise in thine own eyes. That's pride, man. You got guys out there that thinking they just all top dog and they think that they are just all that, man. You know? So, crazy. And it says, depart from evil. It says, it shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. It says, honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. That's pretty much the point. Because, yeah, man. Well, let me keep reading real quick. Wait. It says, so shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy press shall burst out with new wine. It says, my son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. Yeah, man. That's going into, again, what these guys are saying as far as why would he do this to certain people. The Lord does what he wants, and like the guy was explaining, the guy with the glasses was explaining, as far as just like having a son, you know, you prepare him for what's to come. You're not doing it just because. No, he's doing it for a reason. The Lord's going hard on specific people for a reason. Okay? Just like a father and a son, to prepare you. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. Getteth understanding, because it's not you have to have the knowledge and wisdom and the understanding of it. Okay? Not people have this knowledge, but do they have the understanding of it? No. They don't even get it. That's why the scriptures talk about, No, Slakia. Well, I could say, yeah, the election out of the team, the rest were blinded. There's other different scriptures, but in particular, well, uh, what was it? They have the answers and everything like that already given to them in a sense, but they don't even understand it. You know, they can't understand. They can't. Only the elect can. It says, "For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She is precious, she is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her." Again, this truth is more precious. This knowledge, this wisdom, this truth is way more precious, man. You know, that's why again we're willing to give these things up as well. You know, that's why we're well. Main thing is because we love the Lord. You know, and as far as this, we have a greater reward in heaven. You know, um, it says length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. Um, yes, I'll stop there. But yeah, man, the main thing is, man, these Christians don't know anything, man, and honestly, it shows, man. It shows who really represents the Lord, man. You know, who's the real representatives of the Lord, man. The real ambassadors of the Lord, man. You know. But yeah, so with that, I pray that you've been edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered abroad. And with that, I say, Shalom.